it is pretty fair to say that the FAA's temporary grounding of the 737 MAX 9 variant is another major reputational blow for Boeing and its MAX 9 program. What's your view?
Yeah, I mean, clearly it is. I mean, it's a program that's been hit by a number of setbacks. We all know what happened with the MAX 8 and the 2 crashes. And then you've had a series of things. Just most recently, there was a directive put out by Boeing to airlines to inspect bolts on the rudder, and then you had this. A key thing here, and I think the NTSB, of course, is trying to look at this and chase the facts. How does something like this happen on an airplane that was delivered in late October? Was it a fabrication problem or assembly problem at Boeing? Was it a problem with the door itself? That comes from some supplier. Boeing also, relies on suppliers to supply them things like the aircraft fuselage. So there's multiple places where something could have gone wrong. But the thing about this that's really eye-popping, this should never happen, but most certainly should never happen on an airplane that's just literally a couple months old. I mean, you can still have that new airplane smell on the inside and the sticker on the window over a car.
And Ron, an airplane that was also approved by the FAA. So let's not forget that the FAA is also going to be investigating its own approval here. So let's take a look at this investigation. Do you think the regulation of Boeing should perhaps be more closely scrutinized after the multiple failures and manufacturing oversights that we've seen at this program?
Well, some of that's been going on for sure, right? New regulations have been put in place in the U.S. You bring a very important point here. Boeing, its ability to certify the 737s when they come off the assembly line, that ability was taken away by the FAA, and the FAA does it themselves. So, what's interesting in sort of that sort of way is the FAA is ticketing the airplanes. So you've got, Boeing is part of this, the FAA is part of this, the supply chain's part of it. And you can't forget, in the wake of all the COVID disruptions and the workforce disruptions, what's going on here. We can hope that, Boeing treads carefully here and the NTSB treads carefully here and the FAA does to figure out exactly what was the root cause here, so something like this never happens again. When we look at our financials for Boeing out for 2024 and into 2025, given the strong demand for airplanes and the duopoly nature of the industry, we don't think this is going to have that big an impact probably on their financials unless something really unexpected is found. The good news here, if you can kind of call good news in something like this, it doesn't seem to be a design issue at this point. It really does seem to be some failure in oversight in a manufacturing process. And to be clear, this isn't the first we've seen in the aerospace industry in the ramp up post the COVID downturn. The industry is trying to deal with a ton of demand with a workforce that's in some cases not as experienced as it used to be, and unfortunately some things happen. I hope that that's just all this is, but as the NTSB does their work, we'll learn more about it.
Indeed. I think longer term, the question is, how will Chinese regulators respond? I know that's something that's going to be very closely watched by the market. But Ron, just super quickly, you're a securities analyst. How will Boeing shares open up tonight?
I would imagine they would be weak on this. I mean, it's hard to see how they won't. Boeing was building back confidence in the 737 MAX products. This is for sure a hit to that. For sure, it's a hit to Boeing's reputation. So I would imagine the shares will be weak on that. You bring up a very important point. How do other foreign regulators think about this? Not just China, but other ones. I think investors are looking forward to delivery starting again of MAX aircraft in China. Does this delay that? It could. We'll see how it goes. Boeing's also trying to certify the MAX 7 variant and the MAX 10 variant, and this might be make things move slower there too. The MAX 7 doesn't use these, but the MAX 10 does use these door plugs. So it could be an issue for the MAX 10 too.
Right.